So tell me, who are you and what do you do?
My name is Jim Andrews. I am the Director of Client Services for Social Intelligence Corp. We do pre-employment screening using social media and other publicly available online content.
So if I am hiring people for, I don't know, anything, and I want to make sure that I have the right kind of person that I think will represent my company well, then I would contact your company and say, okay, will you make sure this person is not an axe murderer, something like that?
If that's correct, you would provide with consent information about that candidate, and we would conduct a complete review of their publicly available online content to make sure that they don't meet any of the criteria that may be a concern for your organization, like axe murdering.
Okay, well, beyond axe murdering, what other things would bring up a red flag in your system when you're researching someone?
Any indication of discrimination or discriminatory tendencies, anything illegal, whether that be drug use, talk about theft, sexually explicit content, especially if you're working with vulnerable populations, and there's a few others that we also would flag.
Any worst case scenarios that you've come across where you may have saved the company some embarrassment by advising them against someone?
Yes, of course, and again, back to those filters, I think it could be applied to, depending on which client it was, whether that be someone that had a very public role and did things online in public that could have been damaging, or I think maybe even more important is people that were exposed to vulnerable populations that may have done and said things online that would indicate that they could be a risk to those people.
Like if someone, per se, was applying for a job as a children's counselor at a summer camp or something like that.
Yes, so we have had instances where someone is applying for a job specifically to work with children, and they have activity online that represented that they were a risk to that population.
Okay, now I've heard there's been a lot of buzz online about employers asking applicants to share their Facebook passwords and things like that. Is that legal?
The answer is a little bit tricky there. The answer is yes, it is legal now in some states, but there's actually legislation at the federal level that's in development called SNOPA, S-N-O-P-A. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, which is specific to employers asking for passwords from candidates and also friending them and doing other things that are more invasive, that are outside of just the public realm. And so what the FTC has said is that publicly available online content is considered public record, but private content is private. And so making sure that you're staying within that realm of public is important to ensuring that you're following a legally compliant social media screening practice.
Very cool. Thank you for your time, sir. I do appreciate it.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.